Hey everyone, this is Crazyhouse here, and this might turn out to be somewhat of a rant. I'm going to try my best to stay on track here, but just be warned before you hop into this video. So obviously, while I try to stay away from these groups, a lot of these black nerd groups that you see on social media, but I know that I'm friends with people who are parts of these groups, and a lot of times they repost those posts by these black nerd groups, and I guess either starts a discussion, or argument, or whatever. But I gotta be honest with you folks, I get tired of seeing a lot of this nonsense. I wish that black nerds would spend more time advertising popular projects or pop art projects from their peers, whether it be independent black artists or even the mainstream ones. I'd rather you do that than sit around whining about whether you're getting representation, or if you are getting representation in these mainstream projects, that you're worried about the position that you're put in. If you are begging and pleading to be on someone else's team, you have to play the position that you're put in. Either you are going to be on the team and be in that position, or you're going to be the boss and build your own team and play whatever position you want to play. But you can't jump back and forth, hip hop, and ride the fence and complain about your position in some of these mainstream projects. Okay? And one of the things, the example that I can give that I saw on Facebook is of this black group. It's called Embracing Black Culture. And they were whining and complaining that every Marvel superhero has a black sidekick. And they give the example of, Tony Stark. He has Jim Rhodes as War Machine. They got Thor and Heimdall, played by Idris Elba. You got Captain America and Falcon. And who else you got? You got Doctor Strange and Mordo. You got Captain Marvel, and I never saw the movie, so whoever this black woman is supposed to be, that's Captain Marvel's friend. And then they jump on to the CW shows. That the CW shows, all their white superheroes have like a black father figure or an older black person looking out for them, whether it be Arrow and Diggle, or you got the Flash and his adopted black father. You got Supergirl and the black Martian Manhunter guy. So that's the thing that black nerds are upset about or complaining about, or I don't know. For one thing, what I don't like is that whole hand clap nonsense. I get tired of seeing that. I would hope that whoever made this post is a black female, because when I see black males do that, I kind of give them the side eye. This is that whole hand clap while you're talking, every other word clapping. That's something that I see black females doing. When I see black males do that, I'm actually embarrassed for them and a little disgusted. But what I think is a better way to get your ideas across, rather than whining about where you are in these mainstream Marvel movies or the CW or the DC entertainment world or universe or whatever it's called. Why don't you just go out there and support some independent black created projects? Help those build up, so that way you'll be in a power position at least. You can see yourselves in a better position, in a better light, and it'll be more to your liking, rather than having to worry about or whining about being the sidekick to some mainstream white hero, or his sacrificial lamb or whatever, when he needs to make a come up and become a hero, or he has to get revenge for your death or what have you. Those are old Hollywood tropes, going as far back to the creation of Hollywood. So at this point, I don't see why you guys would be upset about it. It's not going to change either, by the way. For all the times that you think things are going to be different, it always winds up being the same thing, regurgitated over and over again. And that's because you have no control over the system. You have no control over this creative process. It doesn't matter if they let you in there. Even if you become a director, producer, or whatever, they're still going to demand that you make these stereotypes. It's very rare that anything else slides through. They're going to make sure, or they're going to vet you as a black creative to make sure that you're going to bow and acquiesce to what they want to see. Not what you want to see. It's never going to be something that uplifts you because it's not made for you. It's not made by you. So it's never going to you're never going to fix things that way. All right? Doesn't matter who gets a job or who gets represented or who gets an award from the Golden Globes or the Academy Awards or whatever. This thing is going to keep on rolling as it always has been because, like I said, it's not your industry. It was not created for you. All right? So what can you do? What is the positive and what is the progressive thing to do in situations like this? Well, I already explained to you. Build your own characters, build your own content. There's plenty of money out there. There's plenty of opportunities out there. There's plenty of platforms out there. We always don't have to keep going through the same ones and trying to cram our way into these content giants and do things their way. We can do it our way. We can make it our way. We can cater to our own audience and not be ashamed of that. See, I think a lot of black nerds, they're so afraid of isolating themselves from their white counterparts. They just can't handle that because their entire identity is wrapped up in their white counterparts. They don't see themselves through their own eyes. They only want to see themselves through the eyes of their white counterparts. It's like I said years ago, where a lot of black fantasy fans or whatever don't want to create their own fantasy. They want to be a part of a white man's fantasy. I said that years ago when you had a lot of black nerds complaining that there were no black people in Lord of the Rings, or there weren't that many black characters on Game of Thrones. I was like, okay, well, there's plenty of black fantasy and fiction created by black artists and writers. Why don't you go support that? They don't want to do that. That's too much like right. You don't want to go support the works of Unique Studios. You don't want to go support the work of Black Sand Studios. You rather complain that George R.R. Martin is not putting you in his books. You want to complain that J.R.R. Tolkien was not putting black characters in his books. And then you want to come back and do retreads or recasting or race bend characters later on, too little too late, and think that that's somehow fixing things. That's not how it works. Like recently, they announced that Ta-Nehisi Coates and I think J.J. Abrams are producing a new Superman movie, and they might do a black Superman. And all of black nerddom was in celebration. They were clapping their hands like seals and throwing their panties on the stage and everything else, all happy and the hearts aflutter that there just might be a black Superman out there in a movie at some time. The same way they got all happy and drooling at the mouth when Marvel announced that they were going to do a Miles Morales Spider-Man. I'm not getting happy about that. To me, that's corny. Wearing hand-me-downs from a popular white superhero. Enough of that. Why don't we make our own characters that we fully control, that we can be proud of? We don't have to wear hand-me-downs from these mainstream characters or these mainstream companies to where, all they're going to do is make him black for one movie or one event or one comic book run, then they're going to go right back to the mainstream white superhero anyway. Why get all happy about it? Why don't you just support your own? That way you don't have to worry about these things. But like I said, that's too much like right. That's too much. It's not as much fun if it's all black or all black created. These black nerds, they want to be part of white nerd fantasies and then wonder why their white counterparts make fun of them, or they disregard them, or they ban them from these nerd groups that they thought they could be a part of. Even with that, just think about that. They get banned and get thrown out of all these white nerd groups. But then when they coalesce amongst each other, all they talk about is how can we get back into white fandom, or how can we bend white people to make them like us so that we can be within white fandom. You can't even be around each other and just say, hey, let's talk about what we want and what we want to see within our own content. You're still whining and complaining about what's being done over there on the other side of the fence. It's like you built your own house, but you're still worried about what's going on next door. They kicked you out of next door, You were already living in the garage or in the doghouse. They kicked you out of there and you built your own house that's just as good, if not better. But you don't want to worry about that. You're going to let your property fall apart and fall into disarray. You're still worried about what's going on over there. You want to still try to cram yourself over there in a full house. It's already full because, as the old adage goes, the white man's grass is greener and his ice is colder. I don't know what it is with you folks, man, but that sickness has just never left your mind. It happened with our parents, the baby boomer generation that wanted to integrate so bad, and now it's still going on, even within these black nerd groups. You guys let me know how you feel about it in the comments section. Anyway, Chris Crazyhouse signing out. Peace.